This is the big Western comic complaint. I was with an American comic. He's like, Veer, cancel culture is insane. The other day, a mob came after me. A mob on Twitter.
Comedian Veer Das is known for his sharp wit and observational humor, showcased in Landing, his brand new stand-up special on Netflix. Das has made a name for himself both in India and internationally, but not without controversy. A recent routine that spread on social media created a fair degree of outrage in his home country and even led to criminal charges. But it hasn't tripped him up or slowed him down, as our Jamie Wax found out on a visit with the comic at the Hollywood Improv in Los Angeles.
I'm too Indian for the West, but too Western for India. Does that make sense to anybody?
Veer Das is the definition of a global talent.
I'm not so Indian that I would study to be a doctor. No. But like, I'm Indian enough where I would never use a white doctor. I think Indian people are amongst the best storytellers in the world. And I think it's because we, at least at a fiction level and at a literary level, we unapologetically access emotion in our storytelling. So I feel like our emotion makes it to the page a lot quicker.
Has anybody ever been to India? Well, if you haven't been, you must go because your jobs have.
Born in India and raised partly in Nigeria, the art of telling jokes and stories came from his family.
I love cool stories because of my grandfather. I called him Baba. I think what I learned from him is that the greatest storytellers in the world make you feel like they're remembering a story instead of telling a story. You almost feel like they were recollecting it for themselves and an audience happened to be in the room.
It's a memory.
It's a memory, for sure. I think comedy serves greatest for storytelling because if you measure the breadth of a human being's life, I'd venture to say that for 80% of our lives, we feel like idiots. You know, we feel idiotic.
After his stand-up took off, he tried his hand in Bollywood.
Papa.
Mr. Bhatia?
And even landed roles in U.S. network sitcoms.
Hi. No. We don't need any more magazines. I'm not getting scammed again.
But he's best known for his cross-culturally hilarious stand-up with a definite Indian twist.
Like if you came to me and you're like, Veer, there's a college kid missing in the forest. Do you know what I would do immediately? I would call my cousins back home in India. Because now there is a vacancy in that college.
His latest Netflix special, Landing, is now streaming worldwide.
You are an incredibly contemporary comedian. You comment on modern things.
Yes. I do think that there is a global perspective now. Like for the first time in history, you and me, we just went through the same pandemic. So there's never been a better time for me to talk to you, America, or you, England, or you, Australia, about you and me in the same breath.
So this global platform has really meant something to your career.
Absolutely, but it's also meant something to me as a consumer. When I watch a Richard Pryor talk to me about Peoria, Illinois, or I watch a Dave Chappelle talk to me about Ohio, I may not know too many things about those places, but I get to go on those journeys with them. Why can't I take you back to Mumbai? Why can't I take you back to Delhi? And you may never have been, but maybe Delhi is your Ohio, so come with me.
Does this place hold special memories for you?
My first ever spot in the US was here, and I didn't know you could get free water. So I went to the bar, and I bought a bottle of water, and I did the spot, and then the bartender was like, "You're a comic. Just tell me you're a comic and I'll give you water next time." So I didn't know you got free water.
Das's humor is often rooted in deep, frank, perhaps blunt honesty as he sees it.
Now in the West, you've had privilege for years. You've taken taking offense to another level. Like Americans can get offended on other people's behalf. It's a very American thing. I'm offended for you. What you went through is so stressful, I'm gonna take the day off.
You seem genuinely yourself when you are up there speaking your truths.
Whatever this version of myself is, and it's taken work. Like if you look at my first Netflix special, it's like hyper and talking to everybody and playing to the big room, and then this one is kind of chilled out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, your energy has definitely shifted or matured, but it seems to match, as you say, where we are in society right now.
I've waited for this generation to come along for a really long time. Here's why I think your generation might save the world.
You have zero emotional retention. You must articulate every experience mid-experience and receive validation for the experience before you have completed the experience.
This generation is redefining fame and stardom altogether, where they're like, the more real you are, the more we'll get behind you. I come from an India that has the largest working population under 30 on the planet, but still listens to 75-year-old leaders with 150-year-old ideas. I come.
He tested that theory and stirred up controversy when he famously finished a set with a poem he wrote called I Come From Two Indias.
I come from an India where we take pride in being vegetarians and yet run over the farmers who grow our vegetables.
The video made headlines. The comedian was accused of vilifying his home country.
On the BBC homepage, big headline that said, "Comedian polarizes the nation." Do you know how badly you have to before the British say that you divided India?
I think the first thing that I wrote was a joke about it. I was like, how can I write a joke that everybody laughs at and puts me as a moron at the center of that joke, where no matter how you feel about my content, we're both laughing.
I was called a terrorist on 3 different news channels on the primetime news. That is an interesting conversation with your mother that evening. Just watching the news, like, remember how you said you don't know how to describe what I do for a living?
No matter how you felt about it, you were like, okay, this guy's a moron. Now let's laugh about this and let's move forward. So I think the minute I wrote that first joke, it honored everybody.
I never got any feedback from any terrorist groups, I promise you. I never got a phone call, "Hey Veer, ISIS, huge fans, love your work."
Did it hurt for a while? Did it sting?
No, I think if you're able to tell people about your problems on Netflix, life's pretty good.
For Veer Das, life is about looking ahead, not back.
I hope to get to a point in my life where there's time for retrospect. I'm certainly not there yet. I see too much in front of me and I'm too excited by it.
My name is Veer Das. It was an honor performing for you tonight.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Jamie Waggs, Los Angeles.